Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, he's Yinka Yusuf.
Hello, my people. How are we doing today?
And I'm Aki Adike. Yinka, what is
Yes,
going
sir.
on?
Nothing.
What's up?
Nothing major. It's been
Yeah?
it's been a boring weekend, kind of, because there are
Okay. All right.
no league football.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're making do with internationals, with some under 20. The female under 20 World Cup is going on in Colombia,
Yep.
and NFL is back. So we're making do with that. Yeah.
So that's a great segue, right, Yinka? Because I was just telling you off camera that I got the NFL Red Zone. It's like a zip
Yeah.
around thing, in-game highlights or whatever in real time. So I got that for
Mm-hmm.
the season. I don't like paying for it when the NFL is not on because you can't use it for anything else. It doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't come on, but they charge you anyway. So I'm watching it, and my wife walks around. I was like, "Does Yinka watch the NFL?" And I'm like, and I said yes. And she was like, "What doesn't he watch?" And I'm like, "Nothing." So you can speak for yourself. What don't you watch?
Cricket.
Cricket.
I hate cricket. I don't
Oh
like
my
cricket at
god. Okay, so you don't watch
Yeah,
cricket.
more
All right, we've
actually. I don't
established
watch
that.
baseball. I don't watch baseball.
Okay,
I don't
that's
watch
fair.
cricket.
That's fair. Okay,
I think that's about it, though.
but
What else don't I?
you watch F1.
Yes, I
You watch
watch
Formula
Formula One.
One. You
Yes.
don't watch NASCAR.
Yes.
You don't watch NASCAR, but you
I don't watch
watch Formula
NASCAR.
One.
I watch Formula One.
You watch
Yes.
You watch golf.
Not diligently, but yes.
You watch more than I do because I don't watch at all.
Okay.
You know,
It's the green jacket events that I'm interested in. Every other one,
Masters. That's
nah,
the
I
Masters.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the Masters.
these are the Masters. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So you watch the Masters. Do you
I
watch
watch the Masters.
Do you watch other Grand Slams? So like the U.S. Open, the Open, that's the British, and what's the other one? The PGA, tournament.
So the US, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. But that's about it. Since
Okay.
Tiger got
Interesting.
off golf, I kind of,
Yeah.
I think my following of golf was based on Tiger, but since Tiger is on and off, or off more than on,
Off now. It's
I
off.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
he's
off.
off now. So there's really nothing exciting for me from a golf standpoint. So I only catch highlights or watch in passing, not diligent. Not diligent.
So anyway, so that was what happened today while I was watching my Red Zone. So I thought I'll let you know.
Interesting. So when an event is going on, I'm more watching. I'll come and announce to you so that you can tell my guys that
Oh, by the way, I didn't watch.
He's not watching this one. But you're right. I don't have Red Zone, but right in front of on the big screen in front of me is the Cowboys Browns game. That's what is on. That's what I'm watching. I was watching Portugal Scotland before, then I quickly switched to this because that one is over now.
So it's interesting you brought up the Cowboys. So why don't we just start from there, and then we'll talk about what's on the agenda. So it was announced today that the Cowboys quarterback got an extension, 4 years, $240 million. Yeah, 240 million.
240.
Which is on average.
213 or 231 was guaranteed.
Yeah. But pretty much in the NFL, if you're a quarterback and you're healthy, you will get all your money. So, you may not have all guaranteed money, but you will get every dollar, right? If you're a franchise quarterback. So the 240 will bring him to a average of 60 million a year. If they sign Micah Parsons, right? then they will have something like 3 players on 130 million a year, and the cap is 250. Wow. The cap is 250. So I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. The Cowboys play in our division. So I love this because this is such amazing mismanagement, because this quarterback will not get better, right? He's never gone deep in the playoffs. He's not going to get better now. And if they pay him all this money and they have to pay Michael Parsons and they paid CD Lamb, they'll be paying more than half of their cap to 3 players, which means they will have no flexibility or they might need to lose one of those guys. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. I love everything about it. So that's my take on the Cowboys.
And talking about your Eagles, they won yesterday. And,
they didn't look good.
But Saquon Barkley looked good.
Saquon was amazing. He was amazing.
It looked good.
Okay, so the agenda today is a little more straightforward because there's no leagues playing right now. We'll talk very briefly about the internationals, mostly because I really don't care about them, especially the European ones. There's nothing at stake. I care a little bit about the African ones because of Nigeria. But let's talk about that, and then we have questions. So we did promise last week that we'll have some content. So we have 2 good and tough questions today. And then we'll do worthy mentions. We'll talk about the WNBA and the US Open. The men's final just finished, so the tournament is over. We're recording on Sunday, the 8th of September. All right. And then we'll close out with our donkey of the week. I don't believe there were any officiating mishaps from any English referees, so I'm interested in seeing where you go with this, Yinka. But
we might just not crown any or let the people from last week sit on the for 2 weeks,
Right. It's worth it. It's worth it.
I tell you. Right. Anyway,
so Yinka, let's start with the AFCON qualifiers, AFCON 2025. Believe it or not, we're already in September of 2024. And so the question is, Yinka, why is AFCON happening in back-to-back years? There's a historical reason for this, right? I think they're trying to get back to the odd years. AFCON used to be even years, right? And then what happened?
So it was odd. So it was Algiers 91, I remember. Senegal 93.
No, it was Algiers 90. It was Algiers 90, Senegal 92, Tunisia 94.
92. It was even. Sorry,
it used to be early in the year. It used to be January.
Early in the year, January.
It used to be January. Yeah. And then what was the root of it? I know there was always tension with Europe and all that. And then
that did not affect the year. That wasn't the major cause of it. But I don't. We can find out and double check because it's still happening. Go ahead.
No, I think it had something to do with someone unable to host in one year, and then COVID happened, and then I feel like because I remember the one Nigeria won the Stephen Keshi one was 2013, so it was an odd year. And I think the Eguavoen one was also odd, but don't quote me. But anyway, here we are. There's gonna be another AFCON next year. There's
gonna be another one next year, but this time around, it's gonna be played in December, not this early January.
Yeah,
it's gonna be December 2025 through to January 2026. So it's actually still 2026. Tournament. It's just that it is starting earlier to accommodate a particular tournament. I can't remember what tournament it is. I don't know what the specific reason is.
I think it's the new FIFA, the extended club thing, World Club Cup ridiculousness. I think that might be it. But we don't care about any of this, so we're going to move on.
Let me Google that. We don't care about all this. Anyway.
Yeah, Google it. Yeah. So Nigeria played Benin. Nigeria won. Nigeria has a new coach. Everyone's excited. Nigeria meets your new coach, same as your new several times over old coach. Austin Eguavoen has coached Nigeria. This is what now his fifth time, whether as an assistant or as the head. This is probably his fifth time in the last 30 years. That is, it's the new Shuaibu Amadu, right? It's the they just
he is the
in
extra tire.
in case of emergency, break Eguavoen, not break glass, break Eguavoen,
Exactly.
And then when he does well, disrespect him, get somebody else, pay them more, and then when they do bad, go back to Eguavoen again. It's exactly like Shuaibu Ahmad. It's a little embarrassing, but it is what it is. I didn't watch the game. I saw a 9-minute highlight. Victor Osimhen scored a really, really, really good goal. The second goal. It was the one. He showed his athletic ability, his predatory instincts in the box. It was everything that makes him a half decent striker. He showed everything in that one move. So you can talk about the game because you actually watched it.
Yeah, I did. It was a kind of funny game. The beginning, Benin seemed to, just soak in all the pressure from the Nigerians. And I felt, I looked at the lineup and it looked a bit odd to me. Eguavoen played 3 center backs. He played 3-3-5 or 3-4-3. And I'm
Why?
like, we're playing Benin at home, right? Why are we starting with three center backs? So the game was very, very cagey to start off with. The Benin, what do they call them now? The guys from Benin, they looked more athletic than our guys, right? They seemed to have a bit more energy than our people, and they had some good, decent chances. But then the individual brilliance started showing. LOOKMAN, who is a Ballon d'Or, is on the shortlist for Ballon d'Or. He had a fantastic game. I told you last week that I was wondering why he wasn't playing for Atlanta because he is not injured. He confirmed that he played and he had a very, very good game. The first goal was a beauty. He ran past 2 or 3 defenders, stuck the ball in the back of the net. Then Benin took over, and up until 75th minute, it seemed as if they were going to, do something. They had some good chances. Finishing was poor on their path. But at the end of the day, OSIMHEN came on for what's his name?
Boniface.
Yeah. Boniface, in my opinion, had a very, very poor game. If you are trying
he had
to
a few chances. He had a few chances that he just fluffed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He just fluffed it. If you're trying to lay claim to the Nigerian number 9 jersey, you need to be doing better than that. Because there's a long list of people on that bench that will take over and bench you almost immediately. Yeah. And I just thought indeed he didn't give a decent account on himself. So he came off for Victor Osimhen, and within 5-10 minutes, Osimhen scored, right?
Yeah.
And it was a clinical finish. Then, like 2 minutes later, he had a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, which he fumbled significantly. And I told you on the group, I was like, this is Osimhen's problem, right?
Yeah.
Decent finish, which was even more difficult. Then he had the easier chance. Easier chance, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. All you needed to do was be composed, right? A lot of people look at Haaland and they think his movement is his key strength or his finishing is his key strength. I tell them, no, it's his composure, right? The boy is calm when he has a chance. He will hardly fluff a shot. He might overhit it or he might want to execute stuff and it doesn't work out, but you will see that this guy, he's composed in front of goal. I mean, that ball, Osimhen didn't need to rush it. You had all the chance in the world to think and execute, and he fluffed it. But overall, then LOOKMAN scored the third goal, So Nigeria ended up winning 3-0. I thought that flattered Nigeria. Absolutely. The 3-0 did not reflect, in my opinion, what the game looked like. But we'll take it. First game for Eguavoen. I like Eguavoen. You and I both, we thought he shouldn't have been fired in the first instance. But he's taking over, and he just went back to the Pesoro lineup that won the Nations Cup, more or less. The same formation, if you get what I mean. He will be playing in midfield. Aryna on the right. What's his name? Onyemachi, I can't remember, on the left. And the centre back, there were 3 centre backs.
Bassi was there.
Bassi, Captain Trustekong, and Semi Ajayi. Ajayi was the 3rd centre back. Right? And in midfield, they had Ndidi, who had a good game again. He plays very well for Nigeria, frankly. Anytime he's there, it brings it. I think we missed him at the Nations Cup.
I agree.
Replace Onyeka with Ndidi at the Nations Cup, things might have been different. So with Ndidi, he will be in midfield. Once again, not playing to Iwobi's strength. I don't like, you can't play Iwobi in centre midfield. Iwobi is better off as an attacking midfielder or playing from the left. But they played him in through midfield. Fair enough. Then up front, he was, what's his name? Lookman on the left, the Milan boy, Chukwueze on the right, and Boniface down the middle. So I didn't really like that lineup, but I'm happy for Eguavoen. 3-0 on your first game. The next game is away to Rwanda in Kigali on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's on Tuesday. So they play on Tuesday. So I think that was the game. So good game for Nigeria.
Yeah, let's talk about the stuff off the pitch, right?
Yes.
So Eguavoen was confirmed as the coach. Is he interim or is he a permanent?
We don't know. He's
we don't know. Of course, we don't know. It's Nigeria. But, why would they tell us? I mean, we're only like passionate, fanatical followers. But they gave him 2 key assistants from who are head coaches, I believe, from the Nigerian league, right?
Yeah.
So what was the guy's name? Daniel Ogumodede, who is Remo Stars. And then
Rangers coach.
The other guy is Iliachi something, I can't remember his name.
From Rangers,
Enugu Rangers. So these are the coaches. I find that extremely interesting, right? Like, these are active coaches in an active league that played this weekend. And then they were not on the sideline because they were on their way to Kigali or were already in Kigali. And I'm like, are we Liberia? And there's only 5 coaches 5 men who can coach? Like, are we the Gambia? What is going on? There's many coaches. I mean, I don't understand this. But in a way, I'm caught in the middle because I love the fact that we respect our local coaches enough that we can draft them into the national team, and they don't necessarily have international pedigree. They didn't play for Nigeria, as far as I know. Those are not names I remember in the Nigerian shirt. So that's good that someone thought, Eguavoen has a point of view. Eguavoen has a philosophy, and these people, I assume, match or fit that philosophy. So maybe we are thinking through things, but at the same time, we just hired another unknown white man. So I don't know what to think. And my brain is doing this. It's just going all over the place. So I don't really know what's happening.
So if your brain is going that way, so imagine the people making the decision. So I think this is just is unnecessary, frankly. Right?
I would agree.
You don't have how many local league players are in this national team that you're bringing Ogumodede and Ilechukwu to come and coach? Right? If this had been off season, and I can appreciate the fact that this is just the first week of the Nigerian league, and we had a match day today and yesterday, right? I can appreciate, okay, it's cutting it close, let them go. Okay, maybe, right? It would have been better if it were off season and you're just getting these guys into the, bringing them on board like an internship, quote and unquote, right? To let them see how managing a national team is slightly different from managing a club side. Because frankly, it is different. It is different. It's not the same thing. Yeah. But these guys they're still Electrical is still the coach of Rangers, and Ogumodede is still the coach of Remo Stars. Remo Stars played away today. They won 2-0, right? Rangers, did they play yesterday or today? I can't remember what Rangers played, right? So I'm like, what is the objective of this? If we had like 50% of the squad being homegrown or playing in the MPFL, it would make sense. But you only have maybe one or two players.
Even in that case, Eguavoen has been in Nigeria for 2 decades now, right? So even then, it wouldn't really make sense.
We are sitting here giving these guys benefit of doubt, if you get what I mean.
That's fair.
We're just trying to rationalize maybe this is what they thought and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
It's unnecessary, right? Yeah. And the other bit is this: thank God we won. Because if we didn't, I won't be shocked if by Tuesday they brought one white man to take us to Kigali.
Absolutely.
So there's a scapegoatism, quote and unquote, issue going on here, right? Eguavoen will be praised. They will say, we made a smart decision. But if he messes up, he will be scapegoated again because he's been scapegoated in the past before. And you're taking this man's humility and his maybe his love for the country,
quiet confidence,
quiet, exactly. You're taking it for granted, because he himself knows that if things go south, these guys are going to throw me under the bus.
Yeah,
they're going to throw me under the bus again. But I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I'm very happy for him. Yinka, you know how much I enjoyed meeting Dodo Mayena, Peter Rufai. You know how much I enjoyed talking to him. When we were thinking of, who we could get, if we couldn't get Peter Rufai, someone like Augustine Eguavoen would have been, because again, just in terms of being a thinker of the game, in terms of being a student of the game, it's just one of the smartest minds on the Nigerian game right now.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So if you've ever, one of the best descriptions of what is the Nigerian way of playing that I've ever heard from a practitioner of the art was his. And it was before he took us to the Nations Cup. This was when he was the technical advisor of the team before they drafted him to be the coach. And he was explaining it like, so he wasn't in the seat as Super Eagles coach. And I'm like, you know what? This was a great appointment as technical advisor. We need to break this colonial nonsense that a technical advisor has to be white or has to be foreign, right? The best people to fix Nigerian football are Nigerians. Okay.
Absolutely.
Like if I have to tell you that wing play is the number one tenet in Nigerian football, what are you doing in my country? It's that simple. Because if you have to work out that, okay, maybe I should play. No, you shouldn't be there. So he was explaining, and I wish I could find that interview. If I find it, I'll send it to you, Yinka. And it was just breaking it down. And it was like, Nigerian, we have to play through the wings. It's like Brazilians having a number 10, and Brazilians having a brilliant number 10. Nigeria has to have a brilliant 7 and 11. Sometimes we're blessed with a 10. Sometimes we're not. Okocha is not the Nigerian way. Okocha is an exception, right? Odegbami is the Nigerian way. Amunike is the Nigerian way. That is what we actually do. Sometimes we have a Mudalawal, thank God. Sometimes we have an Okocha, thank God. We haven't had an Okocha since Okocha. We didn't have an Okocha since Mudalawal, So that's not actually how we play, Sometimes when the good Lord smiles on us, we're happy. And we take Mudalawal and we take Okocha. But we've had 2 of those. That's it, But we've had many, many competent wingers.
Many
And these coaches
competent
come from
wingers.
Europe. They come from Europe and they don't understand that you start with the wings. That is how Nigeria plays. So if I have to tell you that, what are you doing except just coming here to count your money?
Yeah. We have tons of wingers over the years. I mean, if you start going down the list, it's just long, right?
Yeah.
Tijani Babangida, Finidi Joe, Friday Lahore, Dimeji Balogun, who else? Even this new set of people. Lookman for me is a winger. What's his name? Chukwueze is a winger.
Chukwueze. Yeah.
There's this young man, Ezuki, that's playing for Sevilla right now. These guys are, that's how we play, right?
That's the Nigerian way.
That's the Nigerian way. I agree. But
That's the Nigerian way.
The problem is, even if you come through our local leagues today, or you come through our academy today, our academies, right, are getting Europeanized, if I can put it that way. Right?
Standardized.
Exactly. If you see a young guy that picks up the ball and runs past 1, 2, 3 people, the coach will tell him, release the ball, play with your team.
Yeah.
So we don't encourage, right, that wing play, that, daring, fleet-footed, attack the wing back. Yeah. Those days are, I don't see much of it anymore. I come through our league right now, and you won't see this. The wingers are not there. They're not there as much as they used to in the past. Now everybody wants to just control pass. We're getting, going technical like the Germans, right? Or like Europeans.
Like Pep.
And Frank, or even Pep, if you notice, Pep still uses wing play till today.
Yeah.
Pep will tell Grealish, hug the byline. What's his name?
Yeah.
This Algerian boy that left. He will tell these guys, hug the byline. Mahrez, hug the byline. Yeah. The Savinho he bought, winger, Doku, winger. He knows what he's doing. He knows that you need to stretch out the back four. Yeah?
Yeah.
But we don't, these days, I don't know. We are...
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it for Nigeria. The next game is in Rwanda. Let's quickly move on to one more game in the African continent that surprised me significantly. Okay. Ghana played at home to Angola and they lost. They lost at home to Angola. Angola scored in the final minute. Now, mind you, this is Ghana's full team. I had to pull up the lineup so that you will know that it's Ghana's full team. So it was Lamte from Brighton. Momin Salisu that was at Southampton. Seidu, then in midfield, you had Partey. Thomas Partey played, which he shouldn't. He should have retired from international football already. I don't know what he's doing. No, Akin. This guy can't play club football and international football together. Something will have to give. If he comes back to Arsenal now, they will tell you he has tweaked something. Watch. In attack, it was Jordan Ayew, Semenyo, Kudus, and Fatau. These 4 guys are Premier League players. So this is Ghana's full team. Inaki Williams.
No Williams? Inaki Williams?
He came off the bench. I was going to get to him. He came off the bench.
I like him. I like him a lot.
I like him. I like him too. Yeah. He came off the bench and they lost at home to Angola. Guess what happened? The fans didn't take it lightly. They stomped the pitch. They threw all sorts of tantrums. It's not looking good for Ghana. And this is off the back of the incidents that happened at the Nations Cup where they were leading and their keeper kind of sold his soul to the devil, kind of, So the whole of Ghana is not happy with their national team as it is. Their next game is an away game. I don't know where it will be, but they had better win that game. So that's the only one I thought is worth mentioning apart from the Nigerian game. Akin.
Yinka, what was the signature Ghana football moment of our lifetime?
I was that not Abedi finishing our lives in Senegal? Was
it?
Which one would it be then?
Think about it. Not Ghana, Nigeria, just Ghana. What was the signature Ghana football moment of our lifetime?
That's interesting. Oh, World Cup?
Thank you. The World Cup.
The World Cup.
Suarez handling the ball.
Okay.
Guess who was at that match?
You?
I was. I was because I was at the World Cup in 2010, right? I was there because at the time my brother and sister lived in South Africa. My
In
brother
South
still
Africa,
lives there,
yeah.
but my sister has left. So we were there with my brother, my other brother who traveled with me, my sister's then fiance, now husband. I was the only black person not rooting for Ghana in the whole stadium. I was laughing my ass off when that thing happened. I can't even. I don't want to be revisionist and say I was supporting Ghana, all one Africa. I was not doing one Africa. I found it hilarious. Okay,
So
when this thing happened,
you're the odd one out.
I found it hilarious. I'm like, I'm just such a Nigerian when it comes to soccer because I tell people I love Ghana. I love Ghanaians. Okay. Nigerians will come for me, but I tell non-Africans who ask me about Nigeria and Ghana, I'm like, Ghanaians are just better versions of us. Okay. If you like Nigerians a little bit, you're going to love Ghanaians because they're just better people. I'm sorry. It's true. But not in football, not in Jollof. I'm sorry. Okay. When it comes to football and Jollof, that's where it ends for me. So when they play anybody, I hope they lose. All right. I hope they lose by like 10 goals. I'm not, unlike other clubs, I'm not gonna wish them injury or anything like that. Like I wish on Spurs
But
players. I'm not
I'll
gonna do
call
that.
you out. I'll call you out. I'll call you out on this one. A couple of weeks back,
Tell
we
me.
had a session where we're talking about Pan-Africanism, and you
Yeah.
sat here, or I claimed, or I told the whole world, and you agreed with me. You said yes. Once an African club in this country is playing, I support all Africans.
That's
You
true.
agreed with me, so that means you're
In
lying. That's what
no,
you're
in the
doing.
main, that's true. Like I support Ghanaian players. Like Kudus, I support him. I want all of them to do well. I want them to bank their money and make a lot of money. Because again, I love Ghanaians as people. They're amazing, amazing people. But the Black Stars of Ghana, do I want them to do well like ever? No. Not
No,
even a little bit.
I'm not like you. You're the odd one out. I want them to do well. I don't have a problem with Black Stars. The only time I have a problem with Black Stars is when they
Yeah.
are playing the Super Eagles. Other than
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
I'm pro Black Stars. But play Super Eagles, better bring your F game, not your A game.
You you said that Betty Pele ripped my soul apart. I blame him.
Yes.
That's what happened. Same thing with Cameroon. Cameroon, when I was growing up, when I first started watching the game, they would just go out and start trying to break people's legs. And the refs let them do it. And the CAF president was Cameroonian. So there was never any punishment, And so Ghana and Cameroon, I don't root for when it comes to ball. I just don't. But I love Cameroonians. I love their food, unlike
So
Ghana. But anyway.
talking of Cameroonians, they are having a torrid time in terms of their football management.
I
There's
love it.
war going on currently between
Yeah, I don't love the
who
war.
is in charge of the Cameroonian Football Association.
Yep.
Is at war with the Minister for Sports in Cameroon or so, and it's House of Commotion type of issues, right? Pettiness at its height. It's not good for Cameroonian football. Complete bad optics.
It's not good for African football.
Yeah.
So a lot of our audience may be too young, but Cameroon is a small country, right? But the success, the structure of their club football, I would say is much better than Nigeria's. Has been much better than Nigeria's. They've had much better success at the continental level, club continental level than Nigeria. Canon Yaoundé, what's the other one? The Douala Club. These are clubs that have produced African legends. They've won many continental. So it's really sad to see. You talk about a war, but I was actually talking about the real war going on in Cameroon.
Okay.
Tearing the country apart. So that is actually sad. But their national team flopping. Yeah, sounds like payback to me for trying to break Kesh's leg in 1984. I'm like, go 2 more years and not be good. I'm okay with it.
Anyway,
you know,
anyway, now you're showing your true
you know.
colors.
But you got 1 second. But I did root for Cameroon at the '90 World Cup when they had their run. I did root for them, and I did root for Ghana in 2006 when they had a pretty good run. It was just that in that 2010, for some reason, being in the stadium did something to my brain, and I was just laughing when that thing was happening. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a really bad person. But in that moment, yeah, I know. In that moment, I just couldn't root for them. I was just like, this is hilarious, And I also thought Suarez was the worst human in football, But I still thought what he did was terrible. But it just gave me this, I don't know, this evil joy, or whatever. It was terrible.
I can imagine. Anyway, so to round up the international break, let's quickly go through to Europe.
Okay.
Just talk about one game. France lost to Italy at home, right? And they didn't look good. They scored very early. They scored in maybe within the first minute or so. Bradley Bacola of PSG scored. Bacola is having.
You like Bacola?
I love Bacola. He's having a decent season. Yeah. Then from there, it just went south. Italy took over. Their equalizer was Chevsky's beautiful goal, right? And they went ahead to score 2 more counter-attacking football. France, maybe it's time for Deschamps to, to take a leave and let someone else do this. Because I looked at that.
Henry should come in, Yinka. Henry should come in. It's that simple. Henry went to the Olympics with a bunch of misfits. They got all the way to the final. If Henry was white, this would not even be a conversation. They would send a delegation to Deschamps with some flowers, give him his flowers, and they would slide in white Henry. So I'm not even remotely unsure about this. I am 1,000% sure that if white Henry did what he did with Lacazette was dead 3 seasons ago. Okay? And if that's your starting number 9, okay, and you pair him with awkward running Mateta, and you almost won the gold,
Mateta,
you would be coaching France right now. And no one would think he was unusual. So let's just call it what it is. They wouldn't be talking about Laurent Blanc or whatever. No, it would be Henry.
And I agree with you, but I think it's Zidane that is on the waiting list, not Blanc.
That's fine too.
Not even Henry.
Good. So it shouldn't be Blanc.
This is what I think, right? I think it's Zidane.
Okay.
I think it's Zidane, right? And if it's Zidane, I don't have a problem with. But if it's Blanc, I do. Right?
Me either. Yeah.
But we ain't French, right? So they should do what they want to do. But Mbappe, I told you on the group, I said, dude, Mbappe looks ordinary.
Yeah.
Right? He I don't know. I think playing up front, he would need to unlearn and relearn a lot of things, right? That position is not just by pace. It's not just I'm fast. No. There are so many things involved. There is first touch, there's movement, there's finishing. He has bits and bobs of this stuff. I don't think he's that full package yet. And he needs to get there fast enough. Yeah. He didn't look good playing up front. I'm sorry. He didn't.
So if I may,
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may. So there's 2 ways this can go. So number 1 is he does not have to play up front. The stubbornness is not doing anyone any good. Okay? Cristiano Ronaldo, by all indication, a greater player than Mbappe is currently, Cristiano historically did not want to play up front and wasn't moved to play up front until he was in his 30s, okay, by Zidane at Real Madrid. So at 25, you don't have to do this, Mbappe. You can stay on the left. Salah is 32, is only ever played on the right. Okay, he scored all the goals, broken all the records. You don't have to do this. So that's number one. If you must do this, give yourself some grace. It's okay to struggle, and you don't have to do it in every match for club and country while you're learning a new, you know what I'm saying? While you're learning a new position. So I don't understand why this is happening. Put Turam through the middle. Put Kolomwani through the middle. And then whatever happens, happens. Let Mbappe be Mbappe. Just unleash him from the left. Just let, like Brazil is having a, problem through the middle. They're not playing Vini Jr. through the middle to solve the problem. They're playing lesser lights through the middle. I mean, Bayern had Choupo-Moting for a little bit, playing through the middle before they got Harry Kane. They didn't move some of their brighter lights who are more wingers. Oh, you go play through the middle. I don't understand this. The stubbornness is killing me. I don't get it.
So I hear you, and I think I agree with you. But in the French national team, that wouldn't be a problem. But at Madrid, it will be a problem. Yeah. So that means somebody has to sit on the bench. And I've not paid whatever amount I've paid for either of those boys to sit on the bench. So they will have to coexist. They will have to coexist however they want to coexist. Even if you play 4-4-2, Aki, you can't have two left wingers. You can't. Or you want Vini to go and play left back, or you want Mbappe to go and play left back.
No, the two will be Vini and Mbappe.
Up front?
Yeah, the two up front. 4-4-2.
The two of them don't want to play up front. So if there's a 4-4-2, the four in the middle, the left wing is what they're looking out for. Two of them want to play. Vini's position is Mbappe's position. But the reason why Mbappe is the one being pushed up front is two things. Mbappe is taller, Mbappe is probably faster, and Mbappe is probably a better finisher than Vini. But Vini is more skillful than Mbappe. Right? So which is why they are saying, based on this conundrum that we're facing, Mbappe, go down the middle, Vini stay left. Right? In the French national team, I totally agree with you. Yeah. Play Thuram down the middle, play Mbappe on the left, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. But this Mbappe down the middle, because it was Mbappe down the middle, Bakola on the left in this game, then Olise on the right. Yeah. Then in midfield, it was Kante. I can't remember the other two people that played. Kante, Griezmann, and someone else. Yeah. But going back to that game, Aki, two things that I needed to point out. Yeah, I might say it's the Arsenal fan in me, but Calafiori and Saliba looked very good on both sides.
Yeah, Calafiori got injured.
Calafiori got injured. It doesn't look a significant injury. I think he got a kick on the calf. I think he should be fine. I'll be shocked if they come out and say
his left
out.
Camp. His left camp.
I heard that was just precautionary. It wasn't as if there was something major. So I don't expect him to be out for long. It didn't look like a serious injury to me. It was an inadvertent kick on the calf. So maybe it's just...
Yeah. I think it was from Dembele. Dembele rolled into him or something. Yeah,
it was from Dembele. It was from Dembele. Then, final point on internationals. Cristiano Ronaldo scored his 900 goal 2 or 3 days ago. Then he scored 901 this evening. I think Portugal eventually beat Scotland 2-1. So congratulations to him. He holds the official record for the highest number of official goals scored by any footballer ever. Well done.
Can you see my face? Can you see my face from where you are?
You confuse me every time, right? I don't know whether you're pro CR7 or anti CR7. When I tell you he's not in my GOAT 11, you say, now I'm giving him props. You're looking confused again. Choose your choice, this young man, as we say in Nigeria.
Okay. He's absolutely... You cannot have an 11 without CR7.
Actually,
to
you
put
can,
him out. Why are you like this? To put him outside of any... To put him outside of any 11 is hate.
It's not.
But it doesn't mean he's not a narcissist. It doesn't mean he's not all out for himself. Both things can be true. For me, I can poke holes in his, international career. I sent one to you thanks to ChatGPT. I just went to ChatGPT and I literally asked. I listed the countries. I went the bottom 17 countries in Europe. How many goals has CR7 scored against them? Surprise, surprise, 48. Luxembourg, 11. Okay, so the one thing I will always give you, Yinka, and our audience, I will always give you context. You ask me to compare players across eras, I'm going to tell you what the eras were like. You ask me to compare, the big one trending now is Salah versus Henry. And no one loves Salah more than me. But it's asinine to even compare the two, and I can do that without disparaging Salah in any way, because Salah is much disparaged every day, in my opinion, including by fans of his own club. But we can't even, if we've said that you can't even compare Mbappe to Henry, how can you compare Salah to Henry? You know what I'm saying? But I will give you the context of what Henry will be like in today's game. I will give you that. So that's the one thing I will always give you. So the numbers are gaudy, the numbers are insane, but context matters. There is no Luxembourg in South America. There is no San Marino in South America. You know what I mean? So European qualifying is not the same as South American qualifying. I'm sorry, it's not the same. There's no Bolivia up in the sticks, up in the mountains in Europe. I'm sorry. There's no trip where you go up to Bolivia and then you come down to Venezuela, within 3 days. There is nothing like that in Europe. Context matters. So congratulations to your CR7. I just don't care. That's it.
So point taken, but it's not my CR7. Don't say my CR7.
You right? People CR7.
It's not my CR7. So you don't tell our people what it is not. You know how when people go on and on about him, putting him at that A level, I'm like, longevity is not just it counts, but like you say, put that also into context, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking at peak performances, right, you can't tell me he's the best striker when we have an R9, for example. Come on now. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
Right now, it's start padding right now. It's just start padding right now.
And he has always been start padding, but there's nothing wrong with start padding. Yeah. I know he wants to get to 1,000 goals. That's why he's still playing till now. That's why he's gone to Saudi. He wants 1,000 goals. I know. We all know. He will probably get it, right? But here's just all I have to say about CR7. And I agree with you. Baki, it's not his fault that there's San Marino in Europe. It's not his fault that there's Luxembourg in Europe. Every other European
club,
every other European team is playing against these people. Why not no score the 900 now?
Yeah, I know.
You get my point. So it's not his fault that they are the people lined up against him. So I will not give him a negative for that, right? That's the only counter I have for you. But I agree with what you said.
The context here is when nobody's comparing Ronaldo to anyone else but Messi. So that's why it's relevant. There's no San Marino. There's no Liechtenstein. There's no Malta. There's no,
I wasn't even doing that. I was just saying. But I get your point, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Imagine San Marino just won their first international game. They beat
20 years.
Come on now.
In 20 years, they won 1-0. 20 years.
You see my point?
So and then the Balkanization of Europe is also benefiting from that. As bad as things are in Venezuela, they're not breaking up into 6 countries. To give Messi more countries to score against.
Yugoslavia ended up being how many countries, please?
Like 89? I don't know. It's crazy.
Czechoslovakia gave us 2 or 3. They just keep breaking up.
For me, it's so confusing. Which one is Slovenia? Which one is Slovakia? And then there's Serbia. All the S's. And then there's Serbia on top of it.
All those guys were part of Yugoslavia before. All of them. Serbia's Slovenia, Serbia,
Slovakia
Montenegro.
was Czechoslovakia, right?
So
was
that's the Czech
Czechoslovakia.
Republic and Slovakia.
Yeah, Czech Republic and Slovakia.
So, but Yugoslavia had all those guys, Serbia, Montenegro, all those,
And then Inca, the former Soviet republics.
Croatia,
there were 15 of them. There were 15 former Soviet republics, right?
Yes.
Each one is now its own country, So for me, the concept that Europe continues to get the bulk of World Cup places is insane. It's not my fault that you can't live in peace together and that you're balkanizing. Why should you get more spots? It's crazy to me, And this country, you can go 20 years, Yinka, without winning a game. Why are you still allowed to play?
Anyway,
So if you're more known for hiding people's money than doing anything else, you shouldn't even be in the conversation. What is Malta doing in the conversation? Can Malta even beat Sao Tome? Can they beat Sao Tome and Principe?
They have a national team. There are like 3 Nigerians playing for Malta.
Okay. You just made my points. Unbelievable.
Anyway, that's all for international break, Akin. Let's move on. The whole European leagues. No, before we move on to questions.
Okay.
The whole European leagues are back next weekend. I think the key game, and we'll just make this brief. Arsenal is away to Spurs, the North London derby on Sunday, I think. Sunday or Saturday?
It is on Sunday. Yeah.
It is on Sunday. With everything surrounding the game, Arsenal's draw before the international break, Newcastle beat Spurs. Rice's red card. Merino's injury, Party being Party, for lack of a better word. What is your take on this game and how do you think it will pan out?
Arsenal win. Now, if Arsenal doesn't win, they don't win the league. For me, it's very simple, right? City, if this was happening to City, City will go there and win. And that's their bogey team, don't get me wrong. But this season, City will go to Spurs and win. So if Arsenal have any design on winning the title,
take off your fan hat and talk like a pundit.
This is my pundit hat.
Now.
That's what I'm telling you. So this Pep now winch. So if Pep was coming off a international break and going to Spurs will be quaking in their boots. Let's call it what it is. So Arsenal, let me tell you something. Arsenal should have won that match against Brighton because City would have won that match against Brighton. If Arsenal gets lucky and City drops points, they've been dropping points every season, right? They haven't won every match. They haven't gone undefeated. They haven't, right? So they will drop points, but Arsenal wasted 7 to 10 minutes fuming about Rice. And that's why that game went from a win to a draw. And I feel like if they have 1 or 2 more games like that, they don't win the league. And it's time for Arsenal to win something. That's the reality of it, right? You can't just be like, let's wait for 115 charges to knock the big behemoth off. No.
Time out. You're still talking like a fan.
I'm not. I'm not.
I need you to talk like a pundit. You're talking like a fan.
I just did.
You're telling me.
I just did.
No. So what?
Okay.
What will Arsenal's midfield be like? That's what I want to talk about. The game.
Okay,
Who's
fine.
going to play? Rice can't play. Merino's injured. What would Arsenal do? Yeah. What do you think the game will look out? You're just telling me, he instantly went to City and he went to last week's game. I'm not talking about those. That's the fan in you talking. Talk to me
if you say so.
about the game, right? So what do you think will happen?
What I'm really saying is it's irrelevant. Like they need to win, but let's move on. Okay, so I think knowing Arteta, right? Arteta sometimes will play someone he doesn't love to limit how many changes he has to make to the lineup. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Okay.
So when Arteta has a key injury, right, he might replace that person with a less desirable player to prevent him from making more than one change, if that makes sense. So right now there's a gap. There's a left 8 gap, right? And so I think Arteta will play Partey. But but based on what you said, Partey may come back with an injury.
It might come back with a knock.
But let's assume that Partey doesn't come back with an injury. Arteta will keep the 10 that finished against Brighton. He will keep them and only replace one position. That's just how his brain seems to work. He doesn't like making multiple changes to his formation. Right? So sometimes it will play a less desirable player just to avoid making multiple changes. And that used to work in Zinchenko's favor a lot, right, in the last few seasons, where he would keep his position, not because he's the best for it, but because Arteta doesn't want to make more than one change or more than 2 changes, you know? So so who's going to come in? I think it should be Nwaneri. That's what I think. I think it should be Nwaneri. Go for it. Don't think too defensive. But I think it's going to be Jorginho. I think it's going to be Jorginho. And then he would try to play Jorginho and Partey. We've seen in the past where he pushed Partey up and kept Jorginho behind him. But they're both a year older now. I wouldn't do it. I would put Nwaneri up there and let him, pose some questions to Spurs. But knowing Arteta would not do what you or I would do. What do you think?
Okay. I get what you're saying, and I think that's what will most likely happen. But if I were to be Arteta, I wouldn't do that. I'll do something different.
What would you do?
So I think it's time you play Zinchenko in his natural position.
You've been saying this. Yeah, you've been saying this.
This is the perfect opportunity. No other time. He plays left 8, midfield for his national team. He does not play left back.
It's
right?
True.
So play Timber left back, play the back four that you started against Brighton. I don't have a problem with that. Bring in Zinchenko, let him play left midfield. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Play Kai Havertz up front. Please don't bring Kai Havertz into midfield. I watched Kai Havertz play Hungary yesterday. This guy is beaming with confidence. He scored for Germany. He hit the post 2 times. He was a thorn. He was... See, you just realize that every time there's a chance for Germany, this guy is there. I don't know how. He makes this kind of funny runs or awkward runs, and I'm telling you, if this is what confidence does to a player, this is... Pick Kai Havertz in his last season at Chelsea and pick him last couple of games for Arsenal last season and the first 2 games this season. It is night and day.
Yeah.
Complete night and day. He's still not the best finisher, but is this guy's movement top notch? His movement is unbelievable. I was watching the game yesterday. I'm like, wow, if only this guy could finish as 50% as Haaland and as Haaland, he will be fine.
Yeah.
But his movement is elite movement. So that's what I will say. Put Zinchenko in left midfield. But you and I know it's not going to happen. I think Jorginho will start.
I think so too.
Alongside Partey. Yeah, I think that's what will probably happen. But anyway.
And Arteta likes senior players for whatever reason. So one other thing, I think if Jesus was not injured, then Havertz will take over the left 8, and then and then there's a wild card, Yinka, and the wild card is Raheem Sterling, right? So
I know where you're going.
He didn't play for England. He was at London Colney, so he's training with Trossard. So there's a wild card. This is a guy everyone thinks is coming to be the backup to Saka. Yes, he has, but he can also play across the front line.
Yep.
And he could be a number 10, and since Arsenal doesn't really play number 10, he can split out into left 8, right 8. And then there's Trossard, right? So it's just a matter of who do you need on the bench. I think this is a game screaming for Martinelli, not one screaming for Trossard. That's me personally.
Yeah.
So could you play Trossard as the left 8? That's another way to do it.
Or play Havertz as the left 8 and play
Trossard up
either
front.
Martinelli or Sterling up front. I think Trossard,
yeah, but it wouldn't,
based on what Trossard played last week, he's going to be coming off the bench.
Yeah,
he's going to be coming off the bench.
Yeah, it has to be.
Unless there is a major reason, I think he will most likely be coming off the bench.
Yeah, because Raheem Sterling has played a lot of false nine in his career. He's played a lot of false nine in his career.
Absolutely.
So it's probably a better false nine than anyone on that team apart from Havertz right now.
Yeah.
It's probably a better false nine than all of them.
I agree.
So that's good question, Yinka.
Anyway, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Question time. What do we have?
So we have two questions. One is very simple. Mm-hmm. Who is the most underrated football player? And two, who is the most overrated football player?
Yeah.
And I think you should go first.
With what? The underrated?
Sure. Do both.
Okay.
Just do.
Okay, no. Let me do underrated first. You do yours, and we'll go to overrated.
Okay.
So I couldn't pick one player. I just wrote a bunch of players. No, frankly, because
my God.
I couldn't settle for one person, so I just wrote a bunch of players. Okay. Right?
Yeah. Tell me.
And I kind of struggled with people that were still playing, but I still have some people that are playing. If you get what I mean. Because we've not seen their careers fully.
Yeah.
Funny enough, 3 of them actually play for Liverpool. So I had 4 people that came to mind almost immediately. Mo Salah. Mo Salah, I can argue that should be number 1, right? Mo Salah 1. Number 2, Andres Iniesta.
Okay.
Right, and I'm going to talk briefly about why I think so. And number 3, I have Luis Suarez.
Okay.
Right, and number 4 was just I like him, but I don't think a lot of people give him the benefit or appreciate him as much because there were other people that were, that they thought was doing the main thing, and that is Bobby Firmino. Yeah. So those were the 4 people that I had, right?
Very interesting.
Mo Salah, I don't need to talk much about Mo Salah. I'm sure you will agree with me, right? A perfect example is what we said last week, where Carragher doesn't even deem him to be a Liverpool grade, right? And in my opinion, like crazy. I said, if it's Gerrad 1, Salah 2, and I'm not a Liverpool fan, so I can be very objective. Right? It's Gerrad 1, Salah 2, but Liverpool fans do whatever you all want. And even apart from Liverpool fans, even EPL in general, right? They kind of disrespect the guy. We're talking about top 11 of all time EPL, and they say Salah is not on there. And I'm like, sorry, who took him out? Who are you benching? Or who benched Salah in EPL 11? I don't know. So he's disrespected, heavily underrated. Andres Iniesta, because Iniesta didn't score as much goals and he didn't have as much assists, people look at him and they don't give him the credit that he deserves. Iniesta is one of the greatest midfielders of all time. One of, right? But once again, this might go for all the players in that Barca team that had Messi, right? Maybe everybody just gave Messi the accolade. Maybe rightly so. And they kind of discredited every other person that played along with him. But talking of, if Iniesta were to be around today, oh God, so I think Iniesta is severely underrated. That's true. Then Luis Suarez. I think Luis Suarez's issue stemmed out of is off the pitch.
Racism?
The pitch.
Yes.
Exactly. All this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And biting? The biting racist?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
The racist biter?
Boaki on the pitch. On the pitch. Right? Nah. Suarez was something else. Suarez was something else. Suarez was very good. Very, very good. Yeah. In that Messi, Suarez, Neymar, whatever, people always say he's the third. But frankly, I don't think he was the third. I would say he was the second. In that, I think he was.
You would be wrong, but go on.
Nah, I'll get to my overrated, and you see why I said so. Yeah.
Did you put Xavi in your overrated? Because if you put Xavi, we can just end this podcast right now.
No, I didn't put. I didn't put Xavi. I didn't put Xavi.
Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, good. Okay, don't do that.
No.
Okay.
I think Xavi gets the recognition and the accolade and the applause as he should, but people kind of just say Iniesta, you're just there. Yeah,
because Xavi was much better than Iniesta.
Yeah, Xavi's sidekick. No. Sorry, right now, I didn't say Xavi was overrated. I would never say that. It's not on my list, right? But Iniesta is significantly underrated, right? Because of that. And on his own, he's an excellent footballer. And they don't play the same position, by the way. They don't.
I know.
They don't. Anyway, so Luis Suarez, for me, left, right. Last week or two weeks ago, we did best finishers of all time. He was in my top 5. He was in my top 5. Yeah, he scored some stupid goals for Liverpool. But like you said, the biting, the racist, it kind of tarnished his image. And although he's still in the MLS playing right now, Aki is still doing his thing at age 31, 30, what now?
Old.
35, 36.
36,
old,
36. Something, yeah.
Then I had Bobby Firmino. Firmino is one of the reasons why Klopp's teams made sense.
I agree.
And a lot of people, because he didn't put the ball in the back of the net at a high clip, he didn't need to. His play, his hold-up play, his linking up with the wingers, linking up with the midfield was why Klopp's team was Klopp's team, right? And people kind of always throw him under the bus, So I had Firmino as the fourth guy. Now, apologies to everybody. Recency bias will come in because you won't remember as much of the old players, because once people retire, just like when you died, that people now respect you. Once people retire, they get propped up more than they should be. So I kind of left off some people off the list, but I'm sure you will have some golden oldies on your list. So let's hear yours.
So, all right. So I'm gonna react to yours first, and then I'm gonna give you mine. So one, I didn't know we were making a list, so I quickly made a list. So I thought it was just gonna be like one. Okay.
No, it was supposed to be one. Apologies. I just couldn't. I cheated. Apologies.
But it's good. It's good because I was dying under the pressure. So Mo Salah, we've both said this because again, and then degrees matter, right? Yeah. So Mo Salah is not some unknown guy, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're saying in the pantheon of greats, he's underrated. That's what we're saying. So that matters. Same thing with Iniesta. Iniesta is not some unknown person. You know, he was second in Ballon d'Or, I think at least once, maybe twice. He and Xavi, maybe second and third. So we're not saying he didn't get any accolades. We're not saying he didn't win things. We're saying in the pantheon of greats, he doesn't get enough. So I don't disagree with that. Luis, I just don't like him. But you know, everything you say is right. I just don't like him.
I don't like him either.
And Firmino, for me, I may even move Firmino to the top of this list because Yinka, when Liverpool signed him, I've never been that heartbroken in my life. Like I was so upset because I'm like, I knew instinctively what was going to happen. You know, my brother-in-law is a Liverpool fan. I was telling him at the time, like, this is going to be a fantastic. I just hated the fact that they got him. They got him for cheap. And I talked to a bunch of people. They're like, why are you talking about this guy?
They didn't watch him at Hoffenheim.
I'm like, he didn't even score that much in Germany. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand. Like, even Brazil didn't understand how good this guy was, right? And I'm like, one, he can score. So don't let that fool you. I think at Hoffenheim he was probably doing 1 and 2. I think I'll have to check, but he was scoring enough. but it was the Brazilian in him. It was the tactical awareness. It was all of that. And I just knew it. I'm like, the one thing that was missing in this Liverpool team, oh my God, is going to give it to them. I hated that I just hated that for them. I hated it. So yeah, so it might be my number one from your list. So okay, let me go. Fine. So good job, Inka. Number one for me is Santi Cazorla. One of the most beautiful players I don't even know what to say about this guy. So I was listening to Ars blog. He had a special this past week with some guy, I forget, Ryan somebody. And they were talking about him. And Ryan said there was a game where Santi Cazorla went to take a corner kick. And what was the name of the Arsenal captain that went on strike? Koscielny. Koscielny raised his hand and said something to Santi. And Santi switched. It switched from taking it with his left foot to taking it with his right foot. And then they were arguing back and forth like, are there any players in modern football that can take corner kicks with both feet? And the answer is they couldn't think of one.
Okay, I have a couple actually.
But but it's just not something it's not something people do. You know, you don't. It's not something people do.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. So, and on your Santi pick, one other quick thing on Santi. Santi is arguably the only player that you're talking about corner kicks. It's easy for corner kicks or shooting. It's dribbling with both feet that is the problem, right? That is how you will know that someone is really, is really two-footed. Santi dribbles with both legs. The only other player that I know that does that, if I mention his name, you'll be angry with me, is what a pity Dembele. Dembele dribbles with both feet. It is the output after the dribbling that is rubbish. Oh my God! But he dribbles with both feet. He shoots with both feet. But you're right, Santi. I like that. I like that pick.
For me, it was just the balance. And then when it was getting older, what he did when Arsene Wenger moved him to hold in midfield to do a double pivot with what's the name of the French guy? At the time, young French guy. He went to Valencia.
Coquelin.
What he did, Coquelin should be writing this man a tight every month, 10%. No, seriously, because he's the reason Coquelin was attractive to Valencia. Because all of a sudden, Coquelin is not just the guy that runs around and tries to break legs. I'm like, oh, Coquelin now has tactical awareness. Coquelin can now pass. And that was all because Daddy was right next to him. Like, honestly, in my football watching life, Santi is probably the most, how do I put this? Is probably the player that has given me the most joy just watching the game, if I'm being completely honest. Like, if there's someone that I would pray would have been injury-free, it would have been him. Because I've never seen as much balance. You know, because you say right foot, left foot.
It was close to the floor.
But it's like right part of body, left part of body. If it can do anyway. So that's my guy. But then he had like the most ridiculous injury. Like he had this necrotizing pain, the same thing that Grant Hill had, the infection, almost lost his foot. Ugh. Yeah. So it was bad. A little more traditional, Sadio Mane. We've talked about it, so I won't dwell too much on it. There was a time, his last season with Liverpool, it was the number 11 and number 12th highest paid player at Liverpool. That is criminal. That is just criminal. Anyway. So, but and again, it could play that false nine position. It could score. It could do all kinds of things. Not the greatest defender, but it was tactically aware. But it was very underrated.
Yeah.
N'Golo Kante. I mean, that whole thing about balance, Santi Cazorla did not have the motor that Kante has. Kante can run for all of 90 minutes at the same speed. And he can do it while fasting for Ramadan. It's ridiculous.
But would you say that Kante is not getting the respect that he deserves? Because I think he does.
No, this man went to Saudi. This man went to Saudi, and no one talked about him again until we saw him at the Euros.
No, but
It's
I think
crazy.
that is Saudi. It is because it is
that
Saudi.
that is because it was injured for 3 seasons. You know, when people talked about the players Chelsea lost, no, people talked about goalkeepers before him. Because I mean,
okay.
there was
I
no,
see that.
you know what I mean? There was no Chelsea fan that was like, if Kante could just come back.
But is
They
that
just
not
forgot
Chelsea?
about
Chelsea don't they don't respect their. You're listening to a Chelsea fan. I'm saying talk about the whole football community, because a lot of
Yeah,
people will say the only reason why France won the World Cup is because of N'Golo
yes,
Kante.
I
Because
agree.
they even
One of
gave
the
him a
reasons.
song to say, "Oh, he pocketed Messi," blah 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 blah. You know.
One of the
But if you're
reasons.
listening
One
to
of the
Chelsea
reasons.
fans, they will mislead you. Don't listen to them. Because from a Chelsea fan standpoint, Kante is rubbish, Jorginho is rubbish, Kai Havertz
Oh
is
my
rubbish,
god.
Mo Salah is
Oh my
rubbish,
god.
Kevin De Bruyne is
Oh,
rubbish, Lukaku is rubbish. Do you want me to
Lukaku is
continue?
rubbish.
Want me to continue? Don't listen to Chelsea fans, please.
I'm supposed to be the Chelsea hater here, but
Don't
I
listen
think
to Chelsea fans.
we can officially give you the crown. Okay, so but he's on my list, and then
I get your point. I get your point.
because you had 4, I'm doing 4 as well. Luka Modric.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw my
Okay.
brother under the bus here, right?
Okay.
So when he was with Spurs, of course, I automatically don't like Spurs. But my brother used to say, my brother was a big Chelsea fan, and for him, the perfect midfielder is anything that looks like Frank Lampard. And you already know, I don't even think Frank Lampard is a midfielder. I don't think I think it's just a nominal.
Your brother is in for a shocker. Let's go on.
Because for me, it's just a nominal midfielder. You write his name and put MF, in front of it. That's the only thing that makes him a midfielder. I think he's an inside forward. I think he's an old school inside 8. That's what he is, So that's why he's always arriving in the box and scoring those goals, because the things you need to do as a midfielder, if he did them, England would have been successful. He left Gerrad by himself to do all the midfield work, So I don't even think. But anyway, so my brother would be like, how can you compare Lampard? And then you now see Modric is scoring 3 goals a season. I'm like, who cares about goals? Is Luka Modric. This was Luka Modric at 23 and 24. This was before he ever won anything. I'm caping for him. I'm like, this man is fantastic. So I wasn't shocked when Real Madrid bought him. And I wasn't shocked when he just rocked up to Real Madrid and became king. Because the man is a fantastic football player. That's another guy, before age caught up with him. I don't think he's a Muslim, so I won't use the Ramadan thing. But he could play 90 minutes at the same speed, just like N'Golo Kante. And fasting, if he was fasting for personal reasons. It's crazy. So for me, those are my 4 that readily come to mind.
Honorable mention, that what was almost on my list that I took out, was Francesco Totti. I think outside of Italy,
one club man. Yeah, one club man.
Outside of Italy, people didn't really fancy him or they disrespect him. But at the point when Zidane was tearing Syria apart, he was still second to Totti. And people were saying, you are just flashy. Totti delivers. You are flashy. Totti delivers. Totti is not as flashy as you, but he does his thing. Fantastic footballer. The fact that he played for Roma all through his life might have affected that, or might be the reason for that. But yeah, that was someone else I thought about too.
And he was positionless because he had all the attributes of a world-class midfielder, and also a world-class forward, and also a world-class captain,
everything,
and world-class support striker. It would have been great in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, today, and the future, because he had everything. There was nothing to do. Okay, so good segment. Overrated. You go. Overrated.
This is where I had plenty players.
Oh yeah,
plenty players. So that's why I say your brother will be angry. Let's just give him advance notice. Frank Lampard is on my list.
It's on mine too, but go on.
So I'll just limit it to 5. I actually had many more people. So I have Frank Lampard.
You can go to 5. Yeah,
I have Frank Lampard. I have Michael Ballack.
We disagree on that.
I have Michael Ballack, Frank Lampard, Dele Alli is number 3. Right? Then I have Mario Balotelli.
Ooh.
Right? And if you want me to extend to more, but you go with your 4 first, then
No. Do 5. Do your 5th. Who will be your 5th?
Blaise Matuidi.
Okay. That's okay. Okay.
Blaise Matuidi.
Do you wanna speak to them, or you want me to react to them?
No, you've already said everything I need to say about Frank Lampard, right? So you can just copy and paste for Dele Alli. Now, guys, I am not saying that Frank Lampard is not a good footballer, but I'm saying you people putting his name next to Gerrad when you're talking about English midfielders is complete disrespect to Gerrad. They are not on the same level. Guys, stop it. Frank Lampard is a striker that they got to play from midfield. So everything you said, you were spot on. Spot on, right? And it's the same thing for Dele Alli. This is where the confusion comes. When you can score goals, but you can't really play midfield, yet you can be a striker, right?
Yeah.
And in the common day football, we don't play 4-4-2 or 4-2-4 anymore. So you can't
be a support striker.
You can't be a support striker. So where are they going to put you? They manage you in midfield. You can play. Just arrive into the box. You don't control the pace of the game. You can't make the game tick. You're not comfortable receiving ball from your defenders. And you say you want to play midfield? Come on. That's not what a midfielder should do. If you pop in the box and you score goals, all well and good. Paul Scholes and Gerrad, you can't be talking about those two when you're talking about Frank Lampard.
There are times when you say some things and I'm like, why am I doing this podcast with this guy? Because sometimes I just want to punch him in the face, right? And then there are times like today when you talk like this, I'm like, that's why, So because I honestly could not have said it better. Like for me, I think even brilliant observers miss it. And by brilliant, I mean every single pundit with English ancestry. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard this said. They've talked about his failures, the failure of the axis between he and Gerrad, but they don't spike out for the listener why the failure existed, why it happened.
Is the simple truth.
Because you know what they do? They go straight to stats. They go straight to goals. They go straight to assists. You know what I mean? And, so in football, we don't do the hockey assist. We don't give an assist to the person, the pre-assist. In hockey, they give that. In football, we don't, right? So the person who gave the ball to Frank Lampard before Lampard slides it to Drogba doesn't get the credit.
Yeah.
But how many of his assists were chances created? That's the issue. So I look at, and now we have, he's retired now, but now we have the chances created stats, which we didn't have in the heyday of Lampard and Gerrad. But while we're on Gerrad, his coach with Liverpool, Benitez, was on this people's podcast. I think it's Neville and Carragher
Carragher and Roy Keane and Wright.
And Roy Keane. Yeah, they were on there, but I only saw a snippet. I want to go back and watch the full episode. I only saw a short. And he was saying, and I think for the first time someone is actually saying the quiet part out loud. He was like, I've left Madrid now so I can say this. He said, Steven Gerrard is the best player I ever managed. Like, he's the best player I ever coached. Right? It's like, yeah. And I'm like, of course he is. But he was like, there was rumors they didn't get along. But he said, tactically was where his deficiency was. And then he turned it around. And you could see Neville's face. He's trying to jump in and not letting the man speak. And he was like, he hadn't been coached. It's like, and Benitez said this with all the arrogance that you would expect Benitez to say it. Like,
a Spanish coach should have.
It's like he could have used a foreign coach earlier in his career was pretty much the message, So
that's the truth.
That's the truth. So it was like the tactical awareness that he expected a Xavi Alonso. that Gerrad to have that Xabi Alonso had. He said that was the problem. Because he could play right back, he could play left back, he could play everywhere in midfield. It could be a support striker, it could be a striker if you want him to be, and you could put him on right wing or left wing. Choose it, because it was athletic, it was strong, it was technically gifted,
and he had fire in his belly.
It's pretty much even though he's not that much younger than Vieira, is a modern day reincarnation of Vieira. That's why, because what is it that Vieira couldn't do?
Yeah, I agree totally. And what he said, Benitez said, is absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. A lot of people will say, nah, that's not. It is absolutely spot on. But go ahead with your list.
Okay, no, before I have to react to yours. Calm down.
Okay.
You're wrong on Ballack. I don't think Ballack is the second most overrated player ever.
No. I didn't rank.
I know. I think it's the unluckiest superstar to ever play the game. I think it's the unluckiest. Starting with circumstances of birth. East Germany. You know what I mean? He came through the East Germany setup. So when he came in, it was always the shy guy, when he was the guy from East Germany. There's really no superstars coming out of East Germany. He didn't come through the Bayern Academy. If he had grown up on the western side of the wall, that's where it would have come up. It would have come up from, or even like a Cologne Academy, right? It doesn't even have to be, So it started with that, and then it started with the injuries just before the World Cup. So like when he plays his best, it follows up with injury. When he plays his best, there's a heartbreak, for his club, so things like that. And then by the time he shows up to England, he's at the Lampard level, because for me, he's way better than Lampard. But by the time he shows up, in my opinion, injury, and is a natural leader, unlike Lampard. Injury had so diminished him that when he showed up, he didn't have the things that, and then he also wasn't blessed like a Ozil to come up with a lot of talented German players. So he was the bridge between the Klinsmann generation and then the Ozil generation, and then there was just the dearth of, superstar level talent, so you look at the players he was with in 2004, for example, it was by far the best, but they weren't good, so I just think it's the most unfortunate of superstars.
So Akin, I hear you, but when I just look at him, it seems like the German Lampard to me.
Oh, I don't like that.
Lampard to me. He could. The only he wasn't fast. He wasn't defensive, right?
No.
And from an assist standpoint, did he provide as much assist? Was he controlling the game? Whenever I hear Ballack, the first thing that comes to mind is this dude can strike the ball with both feet. I give that to him. His ball striking is elite. Tell me any other skill that Ballack has that is elite. I wait.
Okay, let's move on.
You see my point? That's what I'm saying. But everybody keeps saying, oh, Ballack, oh, Leverkusen, blah, 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 Chelsea. And I'm like, sorry, am I missing something? Right?
I think the injuries did something to him. I think so.
Even the Leverkusen team then, I was like, guy, anyway, that's my Lampard.
But imagine if his Leverkusen years were in Munich. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these guys that we think are that good is because they're also surrounded by players of equal or better, ability.
Yeah.
But let's move on. One thing I'm going to say real quick about Dele Alli. Yeah. Dele Alli's stats were mind-shattering. Okay, at what's this boy's name? The boy Bellingham's. At Bellingham's age, I think he had something like 10 goals and 10 assists more for England. I can't remember what it is. Some ridiculous stats like that, right? So he was, because it's kind of like Bellingham is kind of like Dele Alli, if we're being honest. Like it's trending towards that.
Bellingham, Dele Alli is Lampard 2.0.
Yeah,
is
I know.
Lampard 2.0.
I know.
And when the time came, when the team did not play to his strength, and they said, "Okay, Oga, oh yeah, now you're a midfielder," his deficiencies was so obvious. He
I know.
was there. Everybody now said they were like, Dele Ali, turn now. The guy can't turn because he's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The reason I'm not moving on from him is he does have some mental health issues. We want to be careful when we talk about that. We're not blaming him for
fair point. And I hear you, but I think it was his decline in footballing terms that probably led to that. So I'm talking about what we're talking about, guys. Just to be clear, is on the pitch. I'm not taking it outside. So let's put that in context.
He's had a very, very, very tough life. He's had a very you read the story, right?
I read it.
The interview is so is the only Spurs player that I root for. I root for him just as a human. You know, I want him to
I want him to come back, everything, play well.
The stuff has been through is a lot for anybody.
Balotelli is similar. Balotelli then Blaise Matuidi, right? So, I don't know what Blaise Matuidi does. I'm sorry. Please tell me, what does he do?
I would never have thought of Matuidi, but the more I think about it, I'm like, this is a brilliant pick. It could be your number one, actually. No, because you know he played in MLS, right? I swear to God, you and I didn't talk about this when it came to MLS.
Inter Miami.
You know what I thought about? You know what I thought about? I thought he's always been an MLS player. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I thought about it. You know, I know. Because and the reason I thought about why was he even in my consciousness was remember Mr. X that we talked about the other day. You know, he's a fan. He's a fan of Blaise Matuidi, right? You know, followed him in France and all that. And I'm like, you know, it's like a winger that is not quick, is not technical, you know? Everything it does is labored, you know? So I'm like, he's the perfect MLS player. He's always been. But I was very happy. I'm always happy for Black people to make money. So I was very happy for him that he made his money. So I'm like, good for you, right? Good for you. All right.
So this is even pre-MLS, Juventus, PSG. The guy just runs all over the pitch. I'm like, what? Who? Anyway.
But he's very lucky, you know, because he's always played for good teams and they always did well with him in it, you know? So he's the anti-Ballack, you know? So he's just, he has good luck, you know? Okay. So mine, I feel bad even saying this because this person is not a football player. You know, I don't know what they are. Henderson, formerly of Liverpool. Yinka, I have never seen a worse professional sports person in any sport. Right? So Yinka, if my child came to you today and said, Mr. Yinka, what are the 10 attributes that I need to work on to be a professional football player? And you listed all the 10. This man would have 0. He would have 0 out of 10. Right? The only thing he has it's not. It's accurate. The only thing he has, Yinka, is the shouty England captain nonsense. That's it. He shouts and points. Would that make your top 10 of things you need to be successful in the game? I've never seen, and I said this when they bought him for 20 million for Southampton. I'm like, what are Liverpool doing?
From Sunderland.
Sorry, from Sunderland. Sorry, from Sunderland. And I'm like, you want to replace Steven Gerrard? So I think that's the biggest disrespect I've ever seen. I'm like, you gave Steven Gerrard's position and then his armband to this dude who is not, in my opinion, a player. He's not a professional player. There is nothing this man does that makes me think, yeah, he belongs here. And I've asked you many times. Oh, hold on, you got 1 second, then I'll turn it over to you. Name the Black Henderson. I will wait.
He's playing Black Henderson is probably playing the Nigerian league.
That's what I'm saying. If he wasn't white, he doesn't have a professional career. Go ahead, Yinka.
Okay. So I don't like Henderson too, right? But not at the level that because I watched Henderson play under 21 for England while he was at Sunderland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was the captain for under 21. And he actually he looked a very, very good footballer, right? This is what I think happened to Henderson. He spent 10 years at Liverpool, yes or no?
A lot. It's a long time. It was there
And
a long time.
He spent most of it with who? With Klopp, right? Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I think this is similar, and this is context. I'm not comparing the two players. This is almost similar to what Mourinho did to Mikel Obi. Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of taking a player that had, some whatever, and you just kind of say, tune out this particular skill that you have. When this team, you don't need it. You don't need this. Tune it off completely, right? This is what I want you to do. And once you do this, I'm fine with you, right?
Okay.
And Akin, he now didn't have that particular role. The England manager now saw it and was like, is it that same thing you're doing for Liverpool? Come and do it for England. Unlike Mikel, that when he now comes to the Nigerian national team, they'll tell him, no. Whatever it is you're doing in Chelsea, pack it at the door. Once you get to our national team, we need you to go back to the old Mikel. We need you to play make. We need you to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a significant contrast between the Henderson that I saw at Liverpool and the Henderson that played under 21 and played for Sunderland. I'm sorry. But I agree with your point.
Remember when I said that Santi Cazorla has given me the most joy ever, ever. Just pure joy just watching. Henderson has given me the most heartburn of anyone I've ever played.
Why would a Liverpool player give you joy in the first place? I don't care. Whatever they do. I don't care.
No, but I love watching Sadio Mane. I love watching Firmino. I love watching. I'm a fan of the game first, right? Before I'm an Arsenal fan, right? I love watching the what's his name? Klopp conduct that orchestra. That, what do they call it? Rock and roll football. And this man, I'm just like, can someone just like slap him and just send him back to the locker room? Like, what is he doing here? He just doesn't belong. Like, it reminds me of when my daughter was 5. And I tell her, so I can say this openly. I'm like, this is disgusting. Why am I watching this? And my wife would get mad at me. I'm like, they should wait until they're 9 before they start inviting the parents, because this is disgusting. 5-year-old girls or boys do not have control on their body. So it is so disgusting to me to watch them try to turn with the ball, and back then it was 7-on-7. All 14 players run to the ball. I'm like, why am I here? This is a waste of my time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is disgusting. That's me when I watch Henderson. For me, it's just a disgusting. Anyway. Yeah. Number 2 is Dembele. What a pity, Dembele.
What a pity, Dembele.
And we're not gonna say much about it.
Go ahead.
Number 3 for me is Gareth Bale. He's like the slightly more evolved version of Henderson. I watched Bale a very long time. I watched him a very long time. I never saw him do. I'm telling you one thing I never saw him do. Pass the ball to somebody and receive the pass back from that person.
That's not true. That's not true.
Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. You know what I saw him do? Knock the ball up front and run past the defender to get. Oh, he did that all the time because he had speed.
You didn't watch Bale enough then.
Yeah, maybe I didn't watch him enough.
And I will tell you why. And I will tell you the single reason why. See, my brother, who you know very well, he has an eye for talent. Southampton, and you can call him, he can confirm it. You can ask him, and he will tell you. Southampton, he looked at Bale and he said, "This guy will be a world beater one day, and he will not play left back." I am not joking. You can ask him. You can ask him.
Okay.
Way back as far as Southampton, not even Spurs.
Yeah.
And when Bale was at Spurs, Bale carried Spurs to the Champions League. All those beating Inter, all those games, it was Bale, nobody else. It was purely him. Don't disrespect Bale. Was it worth what Real Madrid paid for him? That's another different discussion.
Remember, we're talking about degrees here, right? Frank Lampard is in the Premier League Hall of Fame. Frank Lampard has more goals than strikers. Frank Lampard has more assists than midfielders, right?
Yes.
Frank Lampard won things. Frank Lampard made himself into a footballer, from the West Ham Academy, right? All of that is to be applauded. But we're talking degrees here. When you're in the pantheon of greatness, should you be at the door, just hanging out at the door, or should you sit comfortably, recliner? You know what I mean? So, and this was the beginning of the end of the Ronaldo experiment at Real Madrid. When they brought him in, I was like, you brought in this dude for more money than you paid for him. And it wasn't that long after, I think it was 3 years after Ronaldo was like, what is this? What is this dude? And I'm like, that season at Spurs that everybody was talking about, I'm like, he scored 23 goals.
No. Aki, it goes once again, it goes beyond the goals. It goes beyond the goals. Bale at Spurs? Nah. See, here's my whatever with Bale. I think I don't think he's overrated, and I don't think he's underrated, right?
He's overrated.
I think it's just that is at the level where he should be, right? One of the reasons why the Madrid experiment failed is because of the guy that he met there. That's Ronaldo. The truth. Yes.
Yeah. And because Bale refused to learn the language, and he wasn't a good footballer.
Everybody that played with Ronaldo Ronaldo overshadowed them. Even Benzema. The minute Ronaldo left, Benzema became what? A demon all of a sudden. Yeah. And we were like, oh, this guy is this good. I was like, you didn't want Benzema at Lyon. Benzema was that good. Was the next Zidane. Body language, style of play, everything. It was earmarked the savior of French football. Exactly. Then all of a sudden he goes to Madrid, and it was like they turned down the volume a bit to say, just be at this 25% volume, because there's already a massive speaker that is booming, which is Ronaldo, and we don't need you guys to call us.
But they also put Higuain into the mix, and all of that was confusing. Okay,
I get your Bill perspective, but I kind of disagree. Go ahead.
That's fine. I'll leave it alone. I think it's more. I think it's more on the Theo Walcott level than the Ronaldo level. That's just me personally. Like, it's closer to Theo Walcott than it is to Ronaldo.
It's in between. We'll take it like that.
All right. And then my fourth is Lampard. So we've talked about it 5 different times now. I don't think I have a number 5 like you. I just can't think of one, but I'm sure it's there somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. Frank Lampard
this to death.
It's crazy. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. So, Yinka, what's left? So, we said we're going to do this quickly. That was not quick. Let's go to our worthy mentions, and let's make this rapid fire. So let's do a rapid fire US Open review. I will start. So, number 1, I think we said this last week, on the men's side, the top 3 from the Olympics did not make it to the round of 16. That was significant. Especially the top 2. So they didn't make it today. So while the big news, 2 Americans played each other in the semifinals, hasn't happened in a long time. American men, and then Fritz beat Tiafo. Tiafo is from my county here, Sierra Leonean cat. So he's a local hero here. Grew up about half an hour from where I live. Fritz got smoked by Senna though. And then of course there's the issue of Senna. Is he doping? Is he not? He was cleared of doping charges, but so anyway, I don't think we need to say much more than that on the men's side. There's no Djokovic, there's no Alcaraz.
Exactly. 2 surprises, those 2 guys.
Yeah, big surprises. Yeah.
2 big surprises. They got bounced. And I told you, I said Sinner, hard court, now he won the Australian Open and he won the 2 hard courts, which is good for him. But that doping cloud still hangs over him. So,
and it's just so close to the tournament. I think it was about 3 weeks when it started.
Exactly.
Yeah, so close to the tournament.
You mentioned
I'm happy for the American
kids.
Though. Yeah.
It surprised me really. He won some games and I was quite surprised. Yeah. He beat Dimitrov. He's ranked 20 or 21 or so.
Is ranked 20th. It was seeded. It's seeded 20th. I don't know what his actual ranking is, but seeded
20th seed. Yeah.
And Fritz is 12th seed. But it's so funny though, Yinka. He and Fritz are the same age. They've been playing each other since they were 14. On the pro tour, they're friends. They're actually close friends. On the pro tour now, they've played 8 times, and Fritz has won 7 times. Wow. So Tiafoe has only defeated Fritz once. So once I saw that it was playing Fritz, I wasn't hopeful. I knew Fritz was going to win. It was 1-6 against Fritz. Yeah, it was 1-6
with that heavy serving from Fritz.
Yeah, yeah.
The only person that could beat Fritz is any other person that serves
Sinner
as high.
Yeah, Sinner.
Which is Sinner. Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, that was interesting. On the women's side, so Sabalenka was on a mission.
I told you
this tournament. She was on a mission. The funny thing though, when I think about this, Coco went out, I think early. We talked about this already last week.
Yeah, Navarro.
She lost to Navarro again, just like she did at Wimbledon. But I'm not as fussed. I feel like it's something she needs to go work out. I think she'll work it out. The one I did not expect was Swiatek not making it to a final. I was not expecting that. She didn't have a great game. She lost to Pegula, right?
Yeah, she lost to
Pegula. Yeah, I think it was a combination of Pegula had a great day, Swiatek had not her usual day, and I would have loved to have seen Swiatek versus Sabalenka. I think Sabalenka would have won. Yeah, I think Sabalenka would have won. I think Sabalenka
the surface matters, right? On this surface, Sabalenka is almost unplayable. The only person that can beat Sabalenka on hard court is Sabalenka, because she gets once she gets ruffled, she kind of loses concentration and she plays rubbish. But if she can be focused, nobody can beat her. Nobody right now. Swiatek hard court is not a hard surface is not a whatever.
But she's good. She just had a bad day. She had a bad day.
Yeah.
But the two daughters of billionaires did really well, Navarro and Pegula. So because if my dad had money, I would not be playing tennis. That's just me.
I would not be playing tennis at all. But different strokes for different folks.
Right. Literally in this case,
Literally in this case, I'm telling you. Anyway,
but that's pretty much it. There was one. I think the most interesting match for me was one. I stayed up to watch this one. It was the rematch of the Olympic finals. Zhang from China and Vekic, or is that how you say her name? Vekic, from Croatia.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this isn't high quality. How did they make it to the finals of the Olympics?
Once again, surface matters.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Surface matters. The ball is slower on clay. It's if you can slide and you can return balls. Here, if you are a heavy server, right, and you can hit the ball, you can't slide as much as you can on clay. You will enjoy yourself, right? So the winners, there are more winners on hard court than on
So that's a great observation, Yinka. I think in the semifinal between Tiafoe and Fritz, there was a 31 stroke or whatever, 31 whatever rally.
Wow.
Which I think was just like the end of it for. I think that was in the 4th set, because it was a 5-setter, right? And then by the time they got to and I think Tiafoe was about 2 points away from wrapping it all up. and then of course, they went into a fifth or whatnot. So
yeah.
But anyway, Yinka, why was the Olympics played at Roland Garros? Why was it? There's only one of the Grand Slams is on clay. So why was the Olympics on clay?
Olympic is in Paris. So
yeah, but they have hard courts in France. They do.
For their Grand Slam, whatever. No. So this is I can double check this, but the main surfaces that you have in the respect, if it's played in England, for example, they're gonna play.
It will be on grass.
It was Wimbledon.
That's
2010, 2012 Olympics.
2012 Olympics.
It was on grass.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like
if it goes to Australia, it will be on hard court.
It will be on.
If it comes to the US, it will be here.
It will be on. Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay.
Anyway, so
okay.
Good tournament though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No. Me too.
Even though I couldn't watch as much because of the timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good tournament.
So Yinka, I've never been to Flushing Meadows. I always say, well, I've passed by it. I've always said I would go one day, but maybe next year. So, but I've never been.
Yeah.
I have some bad news, Yinka.
What's that?
We're going to the WNBA. Angel Reese is out for the season.
I heard.
So she has an injury. She's out for the season. It's not going to affect her team much. They're already out of the playoffs anyway.
Are they? I thought they were fighting for the last slot.
They can. They're losing so many games. They're so far behind. They keep playing close and losing. You know what I mean?
I see.
And now they were fighting the Fever before. The Fever have made it. So there's I don't know who they're fighting now, but they're not gonna make it. I didn't think they were gonna make it anyway. But so she announced it herself. Angel Reese announced it herself. I thought that was interesting. It wasn't the team that put it out.
And they said it was a wrist injury or so. And I'm like,
I don't even know what it was.
They said it's a wrist injury.
Yeah, I'm just devastated.
Your people on social media are quite funny. Someone came and said wrist, wrist my blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Maybe she's pregnant. I'm like, what kind of stupid people?
Wow. Like, that is a leap.
What kind of stupid people are this?
Plus, we've seen people play pregnant in the WNBA.
Absolutely.
So that makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I don't even think that's the case. If it is the case, she would say,
I don't think so.
It's a wrist injury.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
All right.
It's crazy.
But I think the news is Caitlin Clark has made the leap. I think the leap is now complete. We thought it would happen sometime during her first season, but I thought it would be more towards the end. It is now towards the end. They will she's broken, I don't know, 20 records. I don't even know. I don't know anymore. Yeah. She keeps breaking records. And they will be in the playoffs, which they haven't been since 2016, I believe. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. She is now officially one of the best players in the WNBA. I think you have to say that now. There is, she should have been on that Olympics team. I think she's the best guard in the league. Top 2, top 3.
Yeah, top 3 definitely. It might even be top. I can give you that.
Yeah, I think she might be. She's not the best scorer. She's not the best point guard. But if you put both together,
she might even be the best point guard. I think she's leading in assists on a team that doesn't have any other recognizable except Aliyah and what's her name?
Aliyah Boston. Yeah.
She's doing well.
So the only question for you, Yinka, is this. So it's a 2-part question, but it's the same question.
Yeah.
Why are we still saying that A'ja Wilson is the undisputed MVP? And why isn't well, hold on, Yinka. Why isn't Caitlin Clark neck and neck with A'ja Wilson.
Okay. So I'll answer that, right? A'ja Wilson last season was good. A'ja Wilson this season has taken it to another level.
But our team is worse.
Hold on.
Our team is worse. Okay.
She's the highest scorer in the league.
Okay.
Right. Let me open this so I don't make mistakes. I don't want to say this off my head.
Please open it.
In key starts, she's top 3 in almost everything. So in points per game, she's leading with 27.3. In rebounds, she's number 2 with 11.9. Right? She's a center, power forward, so she won't get as much assists.
Forward center. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna. She's leading in blocks, 2.7 per game. She's second in steal, 1.9 per game. Right?
Okay.
The combination of all of this is enough for her to be the undisputed MVP. It's not the only player that I can say that you might want to mention is Nafisa Kolia. Because Minnesota, so the league, the standing, I think New York on top, Minnesota is second, right? New York have 3 MVPs. They have what's her name? Jonquel, Sabrina, and they have Stewart. They have 3 players.
Yeah, Brianna Stewart.
They have Brianna. Nafisa only has Nafisa in mini, and she's balling like hell. Right? She's third in scoring. Is this third or second? She's fourth in scoring, third in rebounds, right? And she's doing quite well, right? That's the only player that I can say, okay, but A'ja, right now, A'ja is on another level altogether. I get your argument for Caitlin Clark, right? I get your argument for Caitlin Clark. I think the Olympics break really, really helped her, right?
I agree.
So that proverbial wall that all rookies hit,
she didn't hit it.
She didn't hit it.
Yeah.
Because she had enough time to just chill and just study film and get. And none of our teammates made the Olympic team, so they were just there.
That's practicing. True. So they were just playing. They
were just practicing, and so that really helped her. And the game slowed down a lot for her. My problem with Caitlin,
a really good point,
is this: you need to put these games. I get the fact that Fever are winning and they're in the playoffs, but in game, it was Kelsey Mitchell that will always get the key point for Fever and not Caitlin.
So you think they're not calling the plays for her that they should be calling?
They are, is that she's not answering those calls. When the game is not on the line, she's on fire, she's dropping threes, she's dishing assists. When the game is on the line, in the third and fourth quarter, our play kind of drops. Do you understand?
That's interesting.
Our play kind of drops.
That's really interesting.
It's Kelsey that then steps up. Not in all cases, but I will say Kelsey is the finisher for the team, not Caitlin.
That's
if you get my
point.
point.
No, I get it.
But on aces, everything goes through A'ja. Even Plum, all the rest of them, Jackie Young, Plum, all of them are having not too good seasons. A'ja Wilson is just balling.
So
she's averaging a double-double this season. Forget it.
So I was just being provocative, right? So
yeah.
But there's also some truth to my question, right?
Yeah.
So the Aces are not as good this season as they were last year, right? I think we can agree. And the table tells us that they're fourth.
Absolutely.
They're
fourth. Yeah.
And then they're not going to finish higher than fourth, I don't think. I haven't looked at it.
No, they're not. Let me see. They're not.
Yeah. But and this is not atypical when you've gone through a championship run and you come back and it takes you time or whatever. But you're right. Yeah. You're right. It hasn't been, on a personal note, it hasn't been A'ja Wilson. She has done as much or more as she did last year.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, there are many times when LeBron probably should have 10 MVPs, right? But I believe he has 4, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he has 5. Yeah, I think he has 4.
I think it's 4.
I think it could have 10, right? Kobe finished with 1 each. Kobe could have 4. Jordan finished with 5. Jordan could have 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there are times when you are the undisputed best player, but
Mm-hmm.
they slide past you and they go somewhere else. And then you come and you show them in the playoffs why they made a mistake. That happens all the time.
It does, but they can't. They should not
but
make
not
this
this time.
mistake.
Okay.
So if we're dishing out awards, right? Rookie of the year or undisputed rookie of the year is Caitlin Clark.
I think she should be. I think she should be unanimous, but she would not be. She would not be. It's just too divisive. So I think, and because of the run that Angel went through, you saw that run where she's also breaking records or whatever.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, a lot of her rebounds were her own misses, but nobody talks about that because she's such a terrible shooter.
No, they are. There's kids making jest of her, right? That one girl will just be, shooting the ball, missing, catching the rebound. They will say double at the end of the day,
But because there was a game I saw. Yeah, go ahead.
It's still basketball. Is she playing volleyball on the basketball court?
No. It's basketball.
She still got a double. There are multiple ways to skin a cat, right? It is the people that focus on stats that will tell you that Angel Reese is in contention, right? For
rookie of the year.
For rookie of the year, right? She's second, no doubt. She is second.
Yeah.
By far. And see, we can say this. I don't have any skin in the game. I love both of them.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm not doing all this. But what I've seen, Caitlin Clark shooting is fire. Even better is her playmaking. Way better.
Her playmaking has been elite. It's been elite.
It's been unbelievable. The only negative I have against her is when the chips are down, I thought she could have been a bit more aggressive, and deliver a bit more. Not that she didn't. That's the only slight negative I have. On the other hand, for Angel Reese, you've done well, right?
She's done amazing.
She's done amazing, but it's not at Caitlin's level. That team belongs to Caitlin. That Chicago team does not belong to Reese yet. Right?
It's well said.
It will come to her. It will become our team later on, but she's feeding off people, right? It's not as if they get the ball, they say Reese go to the post, they give her the ball and say do your thing. She doesn't have a refined post game. She can't shoot as well, right? But she has that dog in her. She will go after every rebound, and she doesn't care who is in the way. And I love that. If someone in the NBA is doing that, we'll be applauding it. Why are we now calling that a negative for someone in the WNBA? It's not proper. I don't like that.
No, I agree. So the game that really illustrated this for me was who were they playing? It may have been the Aces. I think it may have been the Aces. The game where they left Asia open on the last second shot.
Yeah, I saw the game.
And then they had their own center.
The play you're talking about.
I'm like, what are we doing? Anyway, Reese ended up shooting 4 for 16 in that game. I was like, oh, yeah. But she got 20 plus rebounds. That's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
It's insane.
That's Rodman level rebounding.
It is.
So if Rodman is being called a great because of that, don't.
No, absolutely.
Don't ish on this because come on.
Now,
and she for me, said it. Okay, hold on. She said it. There was an interview that I saw recently. She said that a lot of people are saying some stuff, but she knows that our plan is she wants to be a stretch 4 in the W.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
So she needs to be able, in the off season, she needs to go work on all those other areas. When she comes back next season, she's not going to be a one-trick pony, right? So people will really, really fear. Do you understand? I'm like, that's what I want to hear. That's the one that has a good head on her shoulders. Go, girl. Keep it up. I love that. So all these people trying to demonize her is not. I don't like it.
And I like what she said this past week. Someone asked her about Caitlin, and she's like, "There is no beef. It's all made up." And that she said we will play on the same team in the future. So
absolutely.
I don't know what is she talking about the national team, or
of course it's the national team,
or is she talking about some LeBron type thing where she, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlyn might play together? Because I would love to see this happen.
Okay, I would love to see that happen also. But I think she's talking about the national team. I think she's talking about the national team, Aki. It has to be. It is the national team.
That's disappointing.
This will happen as early as next Olympics.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna. If both of them are not on the next Olympic team, there's something is wrong with whoever. There's something is wrong with whoever, right? So that's the rookie of the year for me. MVP is AJ Wilson. Most improved player will have to be Kalia Cooper at the Suns. She's on a tear.
That's interesting because she was already really good. But again, we just talked about degrees, right? So
exactly.
When we were talking about
it's our team. It's no longer what's the name? Diana Taurasi's team. It's Kalia Cooper's team now. Taurasi just an elder stateswoman as his
I hope she retires. I hope she retires. I say this as a fan of UConn. You fought the good fight. You know, you finished your race. What's that scripture from Timothy? Like, you know, you've kept the faith. It's time. Okay? It's time. Don't do this. I mean, she came in with, no one she came in with is still playing. It's time.
Yeah.
No, it's becoming embarrassing. The most embarrassing part was when she held up, however many Olympic medals she has. I'm like, I would be doing this. I'm like, no, because that was embarrassing for me anyway. So
yeah.
All right, Inka, let's wrap.
So, as you've told Diana to resign, we have to resign on this particular episode. It's been a good week, so everybody's been on their best behavior. I was going to crown the coaching crew of the Super Eagles, but let me leave them.
What did they ever do to you? No, I'm just kidding. It's not the coaching crew though. It's their bosses in the front office. Exactly. That's who it is. Yeah.
And I don't want to. We won 3-0. It's all good. Let it slide. So
everyone's feeling good. We're still not going to the World Cup, so that's not going to change. But hey.
When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Yeah. But Yinka, do you think that's a good point actually? Because I feel like there's enough games to be played. So do you trust this coaching crew to go out to all those foreign countries and beat up on whoever we need to beat up on and make it to the World Cup?
See, it's simple. Win all your games, you go into the World Cup.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. If you win all the rest of the games, you go to the World Cup. Yeah, so it's still in our hands. It's just that we had a very, very poor start. Yeah? So they have their work cut out for them. Deliver that and we're fine.
And I feel like...
I need to come and watch the World Cup in US. This rubbish.
I'm just saying, Let's do it.
Remember the madness that happened to us in Qatar. We need to tell everybody our Qatar story next week.
Oh my God. Yeah. Someone decided that we're not wanted in Qatar, so we're not that's okay.
In Qatar. We'll tell that story. We'll tell that story next week before we start.
Okay.
Before we start the session. Anyway, thanks people once again. We're still on track to 1,000 subscribers, like I always say. So please help us get there. Tell people about us. Like, subscribe, and send us questions. Yeah, we like the questions that are coming in. Maybe we need to find a way to get these questions so at least we can know who's sending them in.
Absolutely.
So please let us know your names and stuff so that at least we can shout you out when we're responding to the questions. Overall, thanks everyone, and we will see you next week. Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone. Thank you, Gerrad. This was fun, and see you next week. Bye.